Good morning, everyone. Happy to have you here at course at Coach Steele's Finance Training. I am Coach Steele. Look forward to talking and working with you on today. It's Saturday morning, and you already know, as usual, I am live. I'm live on Facebook and I'm live on YouTube. And so we're doing a quick sound check, and then we're going to get this party started. And we are rocking and rolling. I can tell already. Sound check is good. So, ladies and gentlemen, happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Like I mentioned, also, I am Coach Steele. And so we talk about all things financial literacy. All things financial literacy. We don't always do it every single time we meet up, but we cover a little bit here and there over a period of time. And today we are going to pick up where we left off last week, where we were talking about financial strengths and weaknesses. And I just wanted to cover part two because we had a few more points that we needed to cover that we didn't get a chance to cover. Last week, we covered about 4 points and we left about 3 on the table. And I didn't want to rush through it. Like, why rush through a great topic? Doesn't make sense, especially if we don't have to. And here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, we're on our own time and our own schedule. This is an educational platform to just educate and talk about financial literacy as a community, as one. So happy to have everybody tuning in, and you already know the rules here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. When you jump in the room, whether it's on Facebook or whether you are on YouTube, part of the YouTube family, make sure you greet me, say hello. I just want to appreciate you for tuning in on today and give you a quick shout out because you don't have to tune in, but you chose to. And everyone knows the past few weeks, well, first of all, there's a lot that's been going on. But the past few weeks, we have been going over the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and we are going to pick back up on that topic. But we did stop on chapter 4, and we're going to pick up on chapter 5. Now, when we go over chapter 5 next week, of course, I've already read chapter 5 and made my notes. But of course, if anybody's been keeping up, I took a trip over to Africa and Cameroon. And I went live in Cameroon, and we talked a little bit about some of the events and things that were going on in Cameroon and the Cameroon marketplace. And then when I came back, we talked about strengths and weaknesses. So I have been, out of the country, going live on the YouTube channel and back. And since being back, we did, this is the second video on financial strengths and weaknesses, part 2. But we are going to pick back up on the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. And what this time has allowed some people to do is it has really allowed some people to be able to go back and catch up to some of the videos that we've been doing when it comes to Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And so I am happy about that. Some people that weren't up to speed with where we were at, and it gives you time to catch up until we get back to that point. As you see right here, Coach Steele's Finance Training, the community is growing. Make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, any videos that you missed as we go over the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you'll see some of them on here, how we went over chapter 1, the rich don't work for money. We have chapter 2, why teach financial literacy. Chapter 3, mind your own business. Down here. And then we did chapter 4, which is up here at the top left, taxes and the power of corporations. And even before that, we did a comparison where we did Dave Ramsey versus Robert Kiyosaki, some great content and information. So as you all have an opportunity, get the book. I have a link where you can order the book from, so you can get that book. And then there's plenty of other great topics on the YouTube channel that you will enjoy. Budgeting basics, 5 steps after getting paid. Like, we're in there. We got the content, we got the information. So make sure you go on that YouTube channel and enjoy it. And if you go to the shorts and go to those sections, if you like gardening, growing your own vegetables, saving yourself a little money, being one with nature in a sense, enjoying that, then also go to the shorts and you can watch a lot of great videos in my garden of me growing vegetables and things like that. And that's a whole nother discussion for another day. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if I can get us back. Boom, I'm back. Now, good morning to Vicky Billingsley. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Good morning, Mr. Tony Sherman, Old Faithful. Happy to have you tuning in on this morning. And he's saying good morning to everybody. We are talking about financial strengths and weaknesses, and I don't think we'll have more than 30 minutes here because we just had 3 more points that we needed to go over, and we'll be out of the way. And so when we look at these last 3 points about, let's see here. Good morning, Mr. Timothy Scott. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training as well. When we go over these points, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and your comments when it comes to financial strengths and weaknesses. So let's get the party started. Let's look at financial strengths and weaknesses. One of the areas we left off, we were talking about, when we talk about these subjects, for example, one of the next points is tons of money, but inflation eats it. So there are some people, you have tons of money, you have extra money, you have $20,000 sitting to the side. You have $100,000 sitting to the side. You have $50,000 sitting to the side. You have $200,000 sitting to the side. You have $10,000 extra just sitting there. And I'm not talking about your emergency fund. Some of you already have 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. I think 3 months is safe. That's a good amount, unless you have, a contract job. Then maybe it's okay to have a little bit more. Good morning to you, China Grant. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. Make sure, if you haven't already, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, please, on the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. So many of you may have tons of money. And if you had extra money, what would you do with it? And so when you can figure out what you're going to do with that extra pile of cash, you'll be able to know whether or not your financial literacy and logic is a strength or a weakness. Some people have tons of money and it's sitting in a checking account, not earning any interest. At that point, this is probably a weakness. If you have tons of money, there's a weakness in your financial literacy and logic when it comes to what to do with your money. If money is just lying around, I'm not talking about 2 to 3 months of emergency fund. Even that shouldn't be sitting in a regular checking account. You've heard me here preach many times on Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you have your emergency fund 2 to 3 months or whatever, put it in a high yield interest savings account where it can make interest. You still have access to the money. And if you don't know of a high yield interest savings account that is FDIC insured, get with me. I'll send you a link and you can sign up for that high yield interest savings account. And if you meet certain requirements, you can get, I think, like $50 for free and potentially another $300, depending on what you do. But just get with me, connect with me, reach out to me, leave a comment if you're interested in a high yield interest savings account where your money can make money for you monthly and you can potentially earn $50 to $350 worth of rewards. Now, let's go. Tons of money. If you have tons of money, but you don't know what to do with it, that is a financial weakness. If you have tons of money and it's just lying around in an account, not even making interest, that is a weakness. You can, and I've told you all this many times before. Someone that makes $100,000, not makes $100,000. Someone who has $100,000 sitting around in a checking account, not making anything, they just have $100,000. But if inflation is at 10%, 5%, then that $100,000 is losing 10% of its value, 5% of its value. It's losing its spending power. So let's say you have $100,000 and it's in a high yield interest savings account making 4% annually. That is $4,000 divided by 12. That means every month that $100,000 would make like $333. Now it's going to be compound interest, so it'll slowly grow, right? Now, if I have $100,000 sitting in a high yield interest savings account, I might take 20,000 of it, and I'll take 20,000 of that 100,000, which would leave me 80,000 in the account, right? And I would put 20 of it and go buy a property. I buy a property, that property might make $300 to $500 a month. But let's say it only made $300 a month. So now 20,000 is deployed. It's making 300 a month. I still have 800. I still have 80,000 sitting in a high yield interest savings account making 4%. That's $3,200 divided by 12. That's $266.67. So the 80,000 is making 266 plus the 300 that I deployed, the 20,000 that I deployed. Now my same $100,000 is making $566 a month. Meanwhile, someone who has 100,000 just sitting still is not making $566 a month. They're only making the $333. And so using wisdom and growing your money, and it doesn't have to just be real estate. It may be stocks, it may be crypto, whatever it is, your avenue, your asset that you use, deploying that money strategically is going to help you increase your wealth, grow your wealth, increase cash flow, increase profits and returns by not having tons of money sit around. So that's something I want you to think about. And if you aren't sure what to do with your extra money, definitely get advice, get a financial coach, get a financial advisor, reach out, have a conversation with someone. And most importantly, we can't be intimidated or afraid to get mentors, financial mentors, people that can guide you in the right direction. So how do you all feel about that on today when it comes to piles of cash, large sums of money? What would you do if you had a large sum of money? What would you do if you had an extra $100,000? What would you do if you had an extra $50,000? Would you start up a business? Would you buy some crypto? Would you buy some real estate? What would you do? And of course, I say invest in whatever asset class that you understand, invest in whatever asset class that fits you and your strategy for your future retirement. Many of you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training and you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. As you listen in, you hear me talk a lot about real estate because I favor real estate. I prefer real estate for a number of reasons. And I like retirement plans. I like 401ks. I like IRAs, 403bs, TSPs. I like all of that. I just don't like the idea of having to wait like till I'm 59 and a half to enjoy the money. But with real estate, you get paid every month, passive income. And what's cool is you can have that large sum of money. Like I said, I pulled 20,000 out. I deployed into a property. That money pays me every month. And as the rent increases, my profits that I get, my passive income increases over a period of time. I never have to put another $20,000 into that asset to buy it or to acquire it. Meanwhile, the tenant handles the financing and pays it down. But that's a whole nother story. You have to know how to do your math on all that good stuff to make sure you compensate and cover down for the what ifs that can happen when it comes to real estate. Is real estate perfect? Do you buy a property and all of a sudden nothing ever happens, or you never have to call the plumber or the AC guy or whoever? No, things happen, but you have to have measures in place that help cover down for that. Anyway, and usually most real estate investors are trying to make like 10 to 12% profit. So instead of a high yield interest savings account where you make 3.8 to 4% profit, in that real estate investment, you're probably going to make 10 to 12% starting off. When the rent increases, you'll probably end up around 15, 20% profit annually. Now, next one. And this is interesting because a lot of people won't understand this concept. When it comes to financial strengths and weaknesses, check this out. The next subject that we want to talk about, let me write it in the chat section. Here's a big one. Here is a big one. Giving. For some people, this is a strength. And for some people, your giving is a weakness. We're talking about financial strengths and weaknesses on today. And you have to understand that when it comes to giving, it plays a huge role in your finances. There are certain principles that cannot be denied. When you think about your money, always think about it like it's a seed that you're planting. And so you'd be surprised, oh my goodness, you'd be surprised what giving and being Generous with your finances, what doors and opportunities that will open for you. There's just certain things that happen when you are a cheerful and willing giver. You cannot be afraid to sow seeds and deposit and give and help others and do positive things. When you give, for example, there may be, let's say you live in a community and there's children and they don't have anything to do, but there's a coach that's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take these kids, I'm going to mentor them, I'm going to work with them. And let's say there's a program out there that a guy or a lady has started to rally these kids up and get them to do something positive, right? And they need people to donate, people to give. Well, you may decide to give to this organization. You may decide to give to this community. Happy to have Marcus Scott tuning in. Matter of fact, the example, he actually has a program where he's mentoring youth. And so this is a great example right here. And so, and if Marcus, if you're still tuning in, you can write in the name of your organization that you work and mentor the children with in. But listen to my example. If I give generously to that organization, to that program, to that ministry, whatever it is, and it keeps the kids off the streets, out of the community, causing harm and doing something positive, it increases the chance that my community thrives and is doing better. There's less violence, there's less foolishness, shenanigans, police being called for petty things. Guess what? The value of my property, the value of my assets, the value of my neighborhood increases in value exponentially because people want to be there. Good morning, Renaj Wase. Happy to have you tuning in, Makete, on Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. And so the value of everything increases because I decided to be a giver. And so it comes back to me. I benefit from being a giver to my community. I benefit from being a giver to my church, my local church. And so many people, giving is a weakness. And you have to figure out how to make giving a strength. And I love to stay right here for a second. Y'all don't run away because I'm talking about giving. Good morning to you, Miss Shirley Frazier. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. We're talking about financial strengths and weaknesses on today. And is giving a strength of yours or is it a weakness? Those are things you have to evaluate. You don't know how much you're missing out on when you refuse to give. Giving will open up doors for you. Giving will connect you. Giving will allow you to network with people that you would have never imagined that you would have been able to network with. Years ago, about 17 years ago, I started giving to Cameroon and supporting and donating individuals and families and things like that. And now it has grown into a whole ministry. It has opened up doors. Many of you know about 2 weeks ago, took a trip to Cameroon to do more ministry work. But how did it start? It started with me giving of my time, giving of conversation, mentoring, helping someone spiritually. And then it ended up with me being able to have opportunities to give financially, to give to people who didn't have as much food, people who were going hungry, people who may not have had clothes or good shoes to wear, children who couldn't afford school fees, orphanages where people, it's out of their control. They're orphans. It opened up so many opportunities, but also connections. And so giving will open up doors and allow you to connect with people that you would have never imagined you would have the opportunity to connect with. And so many wealthy people, great people love to give and find worthy causes to give to. If you don't know a worthy cause to give to, do research. And some people don't give out of fear. Some people don't give out of past hurts or something that happened before where they trusted someone with money and something bad happened. And so even when people donate with me to Cameroon, 100%, not 90%, not 15%, not 5%, 100% goes to help those that are in need. So don't let giving be a weakness. Allow giving to be a strength in your life, and you'll see a lot of things that will turn around for you, and a lot of doors will open up for you, and you'll end up meeting tons of people that you never would have imagined. All right, next one. Grow what you have effectively and efficiently. Listen to what I'm saying. When it comes to financial literacy, some people can grow what they have, but it's not always effective and efficient. You may be taking a long way around the mountain. You may be taking a long way to your financial goals and destination. And so you have to figure out, is that a strength or weakness? And many people, the way to break this down from not being a weakness to grow what you have effectively and efficiently, you have to be willing to learn something new. Let me say that again. You have to be willing to learn something new. Sometimes people say you can't teach an old dog a new trick. Well, if that is the case, then that dog has a weakness. But you have to be willing to learn a new ways of doing things, whether you're a dog, whether you're a cat, whether you're a human, whatever it is that you are, whoever you are, you have to be willing to learn something new. And if you're willing to learn new strategies, new systems, then you can grow what you have effectively and more efficiently. And so one of the things I love teaching and showing people is how to pay off their debt and their mortgages effectively and efficiently with new strategies that they may not have ever thought before. And so when you try to do the things the old way, sometimes you end up being wasteful and you end up wasting money. You end up giving more money back to the financial institutions and to these banks. I won't go in much detail about it, but on my YouTube channel, you'll find different videos where I explain how to pay your mortgage off faster using the HELOC strategy and other effective methods, whether it's avalanche, snowball, and cash flow index numbers. But the fastest and most effective way I've seen to hello, Pastor Conyers. Happy to have you here, tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. But anyway, some of the most effective ways that I've seen, the most effective way with paying off your mortgage is using the HELOC strategy. And if that's something you need and you're interested in, reach out to me because I want you to be effective and efficient. Save the most money possible that you can. And don't be afraid, like I said, to get mentorship when it comes to your finances. Last point we're going to hit, and I think we're going to get out of here by 9:30. We have, of course, that's Eastern Standard Time Zone. We got 7 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And I appreciate you all tuning in. This one is going to be a short one. I got business to take care of. All right. The next one is passive and active income. What I mean by that, strength and weakness. When it comes to passive and active income, I'm going to type that in real quick. Let's see here. Passive and active income. Passive and active income. So for some people, passive may be a strength or a weakness for you. Active income, it may be your financial strength or it may be a financial weakness. Some people have active, some people have passive, some people have both. Some people have both, but they're at different levels. Your passive may be greater than your active, or your active may be greater than your passive. So when we talk about strengths and weaknesses, if you have 100% active income, but you have no passive, then passive income may be a weakness, but active may be a strength. Vice versa. And so when we look at that, you have to evaluate. And I always try to tell everyone, when I start coaching and mentoring people, I start trying to shift their mindset, not only to be able to get rid of debt so that every month they're cash flowing, but once you're cash flowing, can we take that extra cash flow, create some passive income from it so that whatever monthly debts or expenses you had, can we create enough passive income that covers that debt, that pays all your monthly, not debt, but that pays all your monthly expenses? If that is the case, once you create enough passive income that covers all your lifestyle and your monthly expenses, then your active income is free game. You can do whatever you want with it technically because the passive is taking care of all your bills or expenses. So that's something to think about. And it allows people to transition from active to retirement or other opportunities that are in front of them. And of course, here at Coach Steele's Finance Trainer, we don't talk about retirement as other people would talk about it. Retirement means something different to us. When we say retirement, we don't mean sit around and do nothing. So, is passive and active income a strength or a weakness for you? And if you don't know how to create passive income, it is not difficult. It can be as easy as pressing buttons on an app and buying dividend stocks, or it can be a little more detailed to where you're diving into real estate or creating a business opportunity for yourself. It may be designing t-shirts and having people order them on your site. And so whatever the case may be, you want to create some passive income from the active and the cash flow that's left over once you're able to eliminate debt and things that are trapping your cash flow. So passive and active income was that last point I wanted to go over on today. And of course, we had a great time on today talking about some more strengths and weaknesses. These are things that I just want you all to take time and evaluate. Really just dig deep and have an open, honest thought process about all of this to make sure that you're being the best that you can be financially and working on strengths and working on weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with that. Every quarter, I look and see where I can improve. And so that's what I want you all to do. Evaluate yourself. Let a man examine himself holistically and see where you can become better financially. And before I get off, everyone, I do want to invite you to this event, August 9th. Make sure your face is in the place. You can go to the lady right there in the middle, Takara Nicole, who is the host. Go to her Facebook page, click on the link and register for the August 9th event. I pray, plan, and execute. Make sure you are there. We are going to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and how to prep, plan, put the blueprint together. And a lot of great people are on the panel here who've had some experiences in different parts of their life that can contribute to the conversation. We're going to have an awesome time. So make sure your face is in the place and look forward to seeing you there August 9th. August 9th is right around the corner, and it's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this event is very affordable. So definitely click on the link, go to her page, and get registered ASAP. If you need the link, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I will send you the link myself if I need to. All right. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we were sitting here talking about strengths and weaknesses when it comes to your finances. If you have tons of money that's sitting around, you need to evaluate that and be strategic in your giving. Are you a cheerful giver? Do you give to help others? Do you give to make your community a better place? Do you give and expect to see results from it? Because from your giving, you will meet people. From your giving, you will build relationships. From your giving, it will put you in a positive mood. It will build up. It's good for your mental health as well. At least for me, it is. Also, grow what you have effectively and efficiently. How do we do that? Get out of the old way of doing things. Be the old dog that can learn new tricks, in a sense. Be willing to learn something new, get mentorship and guidance, find out what's out there that is new, that is different for you. And lastly, passive and active income. Is it a strength or weaknesses? A strength or weakness? Do you have passive income? Do you have active income? Which one is stronger than the other? Evaluate how you can balance that out to the best of your ability. Can you make your passive income equal your active income to where it creates options for you? And thank you, Mr. Tony Sherman, congratulating me on my elevation in the church. I have been announced as the new assistant pastor at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, 1370 Shaw Road in Hinesville, Georgia, Liberty County. So if you're looking for a place to worship, come join us on Sunday, 10 a.m. Our worship service starts. 9 a.m. is when Sunday school starts. And so look forward to seeing you. If you're a new visitor, a new guest, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Other than that, as promised, ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:30 and I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you share the live. Most importantly, also make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and be on the lookout. I got some Coach Steele Finance t-shirts coming out soon that you all will be able to order and represent. Other than that, you all have a blessed day, and I appreciate you taking time with me.